And we're back for the exciting Q&A. And, ooh, here she is.
Surprise! Siyempre, I can't miss out on the Q&A portion, sis.
I know, it is one of our favorite segments, no?
Yeah, kaya nga this time, I wonder who will ace and slay the question and answer portion. We'll find out as each finalist will pick a card that contains the name of our judges and celebrity guest panelists who will ask the question, but they will not be judging them. And they will be given 30 seconds, and when their time is up, they will hear this sound.
And adding more spice and flavor to this round, we have invited celebrity guest panelists, and their names are on this table as well. If the finalist picks his or her name, we will connect via Zoom for the all-important question.
But they will not give scores to the finalists, like I said a while ago. Let's just make that clear. They're joining us for the global-wide interactivity we could achieve through the digital medium.
Sounds great. So let's get started with this round, beginning with our first finalist, Bb 3.
The celebrity guest panelist that I picked is May Sestina Parsons.
Bb 3, turn around for your question.
Magandang gabi, Binibini. This is my question for you. If you can speak to all Filipinos abroad, what are you most proud of as a Pinay despite the grueling and difficult pandemic situation in the Philippines?
Filipinos are known to be resilient people, and we have proved this because we have overcome the pandemic. Although the pandemic may not end, but we see that Filipinos are fighting strong. Even if they are undergoing problems or they lost their livelihoods, they're fighting for their family. And my purpose here, as your Binibini, is to be able to help all Filipinos become stronger and inspire them as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Binibini number 3. The next Binibini up is number 15.
Celebrity guest panelist, Mr. Boy Abunda.
Kindly turn back to the screen to see your question.
Binibini, good evening. And this is your question. Ngayon, madalas nating naririnig na it's okay not to be okay. My question is, when is it okay not to be okay? And when is it not okay to be not okay?
You know, sometimes it's hard to move on, especially that if we lost our loved ones, when we're depressed, when we have anxiety, but most of all, when we want to move forward in life. You know, my favorite saying in a movie, Disney, Inside Out, is embrace your sadness, because in embracing your sadness, you will feel happiness afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you, candidate number 15. Very graceful through that very challenging question from the King of Talk.
Definitely. And up next is Binibini number 19. Kindly step towards the table and pick your card.
My judge is Miss Maria Garcia.
Good evening, Binibini.
Good evening.
My question is, in what ways can a female public servant or politician can be more effective than a male politician?
Well, I really understand that all of us are doing our best to give the best service to everyone. And I can say that men servants are very strong when it comes to making decisions. And with women, they are very passionate when it comes to the things that they are doing, and they're very sensitive with the feeling of the other people, and that's what makes women servants different from men.
Thank you, candidate number 19.
Up next for our question and A round is Bini Bini 24. It is not an easy position to be in. The grace under pressure needed in a situation like this.
Definitely, Kat. And the questions are so beautiful, profound, and relevant as well.
My judge is Undersecretary Benito Bengzon Jr.
Our chairman of the board.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Here is the question. Given the pandemic situation now in the Philippines, should vaccination be a choice or a mandate?
Vaccination should be a choice. And I still remember the days when we were all longing for vaccines to be created. And now that vaccines are available, we tend to get hesitated because we fear of the side effects. But I encourage everyone to choose to get vaccinated because this is the big step for us to move forward and to protect ourselves and our loved ones. Thank you.
Very well said. Thank you, Bini Bini 24. Next up, we have our Bini Bini in the flaming red-orange dress.
Graciela Liman.
Hi.
Graciela.
I have chosen Mr. Enrique Hill.
Good evening, Bini Bini.
Good evening, sir.
Hi. Your question is, what are your thoughts about romantic relationships which began and developed on social media during the pandemic lockdown?
To be completely honest, there is nothing wrong with loving relationships that comes from social media because as we all know, we have harnessed the power of social media. And this is something that we should celebrate because love knows no time, love knows no place. Even at social media, we can meet someone and we can be in love. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Graciela.
And the last from this batch, we have Bini Bini number 7. Good luck.
I have chosen Miss Kylie Versosa.
Hello, Meiji.
Hi, Miss Kylie.
Hello. My question is, these days, beauty queens are also considered as beauty athletes with all the training we undergo. What is your message of inspiration to all Filipino athletes who are competing in the forthcoming Olympics in Japan, given the pandemic situation?
As a candidate myself, I understand and I completely agree that we are like athletes because we are required to be disciplined. We are required to give our 100% passion and focus on whatever we will do. And to our athletes, I know that you are also waiting for this to happen again. And this will happen again in Japan, and it's a good sign, and it means that there's hope, and we are go back to normal. Thank you.
Thank you so much, candidate number 7. And that concludes our first round of question and answer portion.
Yes, and at this point, konting hinga muna. Let's take some pressure off as we take a quick break. It's our next 7 finalists' turn on the Q&A in just a few.
The second batch of finalists for the Q&A round. And now it's the turn of these ladies to pick a card.
Ooh, earlier, I could feel you just itching to give your own spin on those questions.
Laglagan, sis. Pero I think it's a given naman for us Q&A nerds, diba? But the ladies did an exceptional job despite the difficult questions.
Yes, we are very proud mentors right now. Okay, so let's hope our remaining finalists enjoy and relish this competition as much as we do. Let's proceed with Bini Bini 23 from Albay, Jasmine Di Magulangan.
celebrity guest panelist, Congresswoman Vilma Santos Recto.
Kindly turn to your back to see the question.
Magandang gabi, Binibini. This is my question. So much has happened to us in the course of a year. When we emerge from this crisis, what positive change do you foresee happening to humanity in general?
Something positive that I have witnessed during the pandemic is how resilient and adaptable people are. We have been put through a lot the past year, but still we find ways to help one another and find ways to help. And at the end of the day, as long as we put our generosity and charity first, then together we can heal and we can get through this crisis. Thank you.
Thank you very much, candidate number 23. Up next, we have candidate number 1, Samantha Panlilio.
I chose Judge Mr. Rahul Laurel.
Good evening, Binibini. Hi.
Good
evening,
evening.
Binibini.
Good evening.
YOLO. You only live once. Name something you learned and did for the first time during the pandemic, which you consider as the most life-changing of all.
The one thing that I did during the pandemic was actually cook food for frontliners because I love to cook. And I also have a food vlog, which I do in my spare time. And it was such a fulfilling and humbling experience, you know, helping these people and helping contribute to the people who are actually in the front lines helping us Filipinos. And so I hope that what I did inspired other women too to also help out one another, because the only way that we can survive and heal and recover through this pandemic is if we help one another. Thank you.
Just in the nick of time. Thank you so much, Binibini 1.
Next up, we have from Quezon Province, Binibini 8, Patricia Babista.
My question will be coming from Miss Liza Soberano.
Hi, good evening, Patricia. So my question for you is, fake news, bashing, rants, and the like are abound on social media. Why do you think they should not be part of the new beautiful, even if they encourage social interactions on this platform?
Social media is such a beautiful technology that has given us, but there is always limitations. So I hope that in social media, we will create a space where there is no hate. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia.
Up next, we have Binibini number 25, Honey Grace Cartasano. Please pick your card.
My judge is Mr. Joseldo C.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Binibini number 25. Amidst the hardships and suffering the world is facing now, if you're given a chance to face God and ask one question, what will that be and why?
If I will be having a chance to ask God, it is why. But I know that everything happens for a reason. We may be facing pandemic right now and there is so much uncertainty, but this revealed that every Filipino has a heart of a hero. So thank you, God, for everything, even though we're facing this pandemic. Thank you to all the Filipino heroes. Thank you.
Thank you, honey. Next up from Masbate is Binibini 17, Hannah Arnold.
My judge is Miss Pinky Webb.
Hi, Hannah.
Hello.
Given the reach and power of social media, do you believe that genuine freedom of speech exists in the Philippines nowadays? Why or why not?
First of all, freedom of speech is a basic human right that we all must remember. And it is important for a democracy. And with our upcoming election, we definitely need free speech. For example, on Twitter, we are limited to few characters. And what I have seen from these tweets has been powerful and has helped me think about who I would like to vote for in the upcoming election. Thank you.
Thank you, Binibini number 17, Hannah Arnold. Next up, we have Binibini number 10, Maureen Montaigne.
My judge is Secretary Benito Bengdon Jr.
Good evening, Binibini. Here's my question. Now that compassion is needed more than ever, what is your most recent act of kindness, and how did this affect others?
During the pandemic, I was in Siargao, and together, friends and I banded together and we created the Siargao Community Kitchen. It was a trying time and everyone felt how hard it was. Our hearts were heavy, but together we rose. Together we supported our communities and provided our hot meals and assistance to everyone on the island and helped as much as we could. And for me, it proved that together, community conquers all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Binibini 10, Maureen Montaigne.
And we have the last Binibini to show her heart. Binibini 12 from Cagayan de Oro, Cinderella Obenita.
Hi, Kat and Nicole. I have chosen celebrity guest panelist, Mr. Michael Cinco.
Kindly turn to the screen to see your question.
Hello and good evening to you, Binibini. Here's my question. How important are luxury items like bags, clothes, and jewelry for a woman when the national economy is down and struggling?
In life, we always find ourselves at a crossroad of choices. Women always have a choice whether to prioritize luxury items while we are facing a pandemic, and also they have a choice to embrace a concept of a new beautiful, which is responsive to the needs of the time, adaptive to the change of times. And I think I would choose to be that woman who understands the problems of the Philippines, the problems of my community, so that we would be able to uplift each other. And I would be that kind of woman who would comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. Mayang gabi sa inyong tanan.
Very well said, and thank you to all of our finalists. You have shown grace under enormous pressure, and I wish you all the best, my pageant sisters. That officially concludes all the rounds of the competition this year.
Makakahinga na sila ng maluwag talaga. And a big Binibini thank you also to our celebrity guest panelists and to Espejo ni Pingoy for our lovely wood art. So the scores are now being tabulated at konti na lang magkakaalaman na sa resulta at kung sino ang makokoronahan.
Malapit na!
Binibining Pilipinas 2021.